Yeah, this is probably one of the most collaborative comic book projects I've ever been a part of, or jobs. So Scott's initial idea was to create a new Batman for today. And you know, when he told me that this Bruce Wayne's tragedy would be born out of a school shooting and he'd lose his father, I was like, I'm all in. This sounds like something relevant and very pertinent to the US. And then, yeah, in terms of the character design, Scott's biggest suggestion was, let's make him the biggest Batman ever. And when I tell you I drew him big at first, Scott saw that and said, bigger. Well, for me, Batman is like on a suicide mission. If you think about if a real person was to do this, how long could they possibly last? To go out every night and beat up criminals. The difference in this Batman, though, is the criminals is the upper echelon of society, the power brokers. It's not the small-time criminal that the original origin of Batman, which is 80 years old now, was a street criminal that killed his parents, and he was going to go beat out basically poor people. And this new Batman is going after the powers that be, and that is actually the Joker in our story. So Joker, everything is flipped in our book. Batman is chaos in this book. He's anarchy. He's upsetting the system. The Joker is the system. The Joker has traveled the world. The Joker is the billionaire. The Joker is controlling everything. And we haven't gotten to that part of the story yet, but we are showing the strings being pulled. But in terms of the violence, to me, when I draw this book, I draw the little boy, and I like to think maybe he died that day at the zoo. And this is almost like a fever dream of this hero, because that's what it feels like when I draw it. And to me, comics are escapism, and I like to draw the violence and the brutality, not in a fun way, but a brutal way. And to make you feel the blood, and the splatter of my ink represents blood, and it kind of works very effectively when you go more simplistic. But to me, that's Batman's world. It's very brutal. Yes, yeah. Well, I mean, he's from Crime Alley. So this Batman also grew up with Two-Face, the Riddler, the Penguin, and when we get into, I don't know if you guys are up into this point yet, but you start to see Waylon, Crop Jones, like all these characters will become the villains that we know them as. But, as you see, they all grew up together. Selina Kyle, Two-Face, the Penguin, the Riddler, Killer Croc. So they all grew up as friends. They all were at that shooting, and they were all affected in different ways. So it's just kind of like not a very simplistic black and white take. It's like the real world. There's a lot of gray. Yeah, I mean, too many to name. Frank Miller, Dark Knight Returns, very much influenced the way I drew the book. Because in America, and I would say even in European comics, we've gotten so illustrative that like the picture could dominate the words, or the writers are like novels and too many words. And I feel like good comics should be cinematic and move. And my favorite comics are Frank Miller, David Mazzucchelli, Micheluzzi, Hugo Pratt. These are simplistic drawings, emotional drawings. They hit beats. They hit the emotional beat. And so like I didn't want to labor over the drawing. I could sit and draw a page all day and make it the most detailed thing, but I feel like that bores the reader. It's when the pictures and the words perfectly work together. And like I think that's why most children read, most kids or younger readers read manga now, because the comics flow. And I feel like in America we got away from that. We've gone writer-driven. And we need more artist-driven comics like they do in Japan. And I feel like that's where you really get the imagination to explode. Because I can't get into a writer's head. You know? You can see the Mazzucchelli pose right there. And then this page too, I thought that my idea was, rather than a utility belt, the whole Batman would be a utility. The whole suit is a utility. Every part of it is a weapon. And constantly reinforcing who this character is, who this Bruce is. He's a construction worker, he's a city engineer. He repairs what he breaks. And so you reflect that even in his uniform. Everything is a tool, from his ears to his boots, to his belt, to his cape, all of it's a tool. I think you, as an artist, you have to, I'm constantly trying to grow and evolve. So I don't know if you're familiar with my work 10, 15 years ago. It was very Jack Kirby, 1960s classic Marvel. And I think kids' introduction to Batman now is video games, Arkham Asylum, or the movies, right? So I look at that stuff and take inspiration from it, and if you look at Arkham Asylum, I mean, everyone is jacked, big, right? So I don't want to reject any of that. I want to pull it in. I want to bring it into my own work, and it's just fun. I mean, I think comics should be big and bombastic. So we work in America, there's two styles of writing: full script, which is page 1, panel 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, all the dialogue, all the words, or Marvel style, like the method Jack Kirby created, where basically Stan Lee would say, give me a space alien that just roams his villain eats planets.
Let's fight with God, like the Galactus
Marvel
Trilogy.
style,
Yes.
and then Jack would go off and draw a whole book, basically create the whole thing. Stan Lee would come back in and put words all over top of it. So we and Scott are working like a hybrid Marvel style. So one, we live close together. So I can go over to Scott's house, we hang out, we talk, and then we basically beat it out on a whiteboard, an issue, and Scott will type that up. And then I go away for 3 or 4 weeks and I start drawing it, and I finish pages and send them to Scott, and then Scott starts putting the dialogue in. So Scott gives me the direction, but I can go in any direction as long as I'm going and meeting, the story is going to end up where he wants it to end up, and then we're both just throwing ideas at it and constantly refining and constantly editing to try and make it as best and as entertaining as it can be. I think you want to draw likable characters and show that emotion on the page, that they all love one another, and then when, for better or worse, when the shit hits the fan, you're going to feel it and be like, wow, are they going to be friends or foe? And like in terms of Alfred, Scott has said that that relationship with him and Bruce very much reflects his relationship with his son. Because his son is like, I'm going to go change the world and I'm going to do this, and Scott is very much of the old ways, as am I. I'm older and don't always understand the youth. But like our Bruce is idealistic and is really setting out to change the world, and Alfred is very much the old system, the old guard. He's like a super spy, CIA. I don't know what you'd have in Italy that would be the equivalent, but he's behind the scenes pulling strings and saying, slow down, it doesn't work this way, you gotta do it this way. But Bruce, like I said, is chaos, he's anarchy, he's gonna upset the system. I think it's just, through your own experiences as a human being, and gods are more distant, gods are omnipotent, gods are always powerful, and that doesn't lend itself to good drama. We want to believe that these heroes could lose, right? And then I think they're all really, really interesting takes. Like you said, Wonder Woman is birthed out of hell. Superman is basically like, the the real immigrant story on the run. You see that throughout the world now. And Batman is very representing of what's going on in America, where the 1% is ruining the day and controlling everything and even possibly taking away democracy. So Bruce is like that, again, that human element that we all yearn to be and fight for. So I think it's good drama and good entertainment.